Hello friends, and welcome to my 15 minutes video channel. Today we will talk about one of the most important color in my set, Quinacridone Sienna. When you open the package with my Eco palette, you will find there my list of the colors what I'm using when I'm traveling. Here is just 9 colors, and 3 of them very important for me. That's the main colors what I'm using for my mixing. And number 1 here is Quinacridone Sienna. When I saw that color the first time, I was extremely surprised. That's so colorful, so powerful, clear, transparent, and incredible, great for any kind of mixing. Since this time, last 5 years, I'm using Quinacridone Sienna a lot, everywhere, including the big painting like that, or sketching outside all the time. So today I will show you some mixing with that color and explain why I choose that. Like usual, I'm gonna use my Eco palette and very nice cup for traveling. You see, it's a very tiny, almost nothing, and retractable. Water, palette, 2 brushes what I'm using all the time, and we're starting to create the simple sketch first. Today we'll talk about the small street in Italy. I just make the very simple sketch. It will be more easy to follow me if you will know what I'm doing. The photo that I'm gonna use for reference you can see on the screen right now. The sketch is really simple because the idea to explain how I'm going to use that color. So that's why it's right here, the first big pen what I'm gonna use. By the way, you can see because of the size, it's very comfortable for the big brush like that. So this is a clear Quinacridone Sienna. And also I mix that with another one, very nice color, Quinacridone Deep Gold. So together I have a very rich yellow color. Somewhere I'm gonna make it a little bit more yellow, somewhere a little bit more oranges because of the Quinacridone Sienna. If I add inside the Quinacridone Sienna just a little bit Indigo, I have a very nice and rich grayish color. A little bit cobalt. I have another one, really complicated grayish color. And look at that. So if we want to create a really old wall, this is incredible complicated mix. It's not flat, it's not simple. That's what I like it. a little bit Perylene violet inside the Quinacridone Sienna, and we have a very nice brownish color there. Just spray water a little bit to make the special effect of the old wall or something. And even for the sky, I took the cobalt and mixed the cobalt with the Quinacridone Sienna again. I'm continuing to play with my light part, just trying to make it more interesting, because we're talking about the really old wall. For instance, if I want to make it a little bit more reddish, I use the same Quinacridone Sienna with the Perylene violet, and we have a very nice color for the bricks. It looks like a brick, you see? A little bit more deep gold inside the same mix, and we have a very old wall. A little bit more indigo inside the same mix, another one, good mixing. And wash out. That's another one reason why I like that color. It's really easy to wash out, like indigo as well. So let's say we finished our first layer, we're preparing our background. I just make it dry and put the shadows on top. For the shadows, I'm gonna mix all my colors with a Quinacridone Sienna as well. To work with the shadows, I switched to my Chinese brush, you know, that's mixed between goat and the wolf hair. And like I say, the main color still will be Quinacridone Sienna. So some shadows I'm gonna make a little bit more warm. I'm just mix the sienna with the Perylene violet. Some I add a little bit indigo inside that. You know, before I used burnt umber a lot for my mixing, but for now I switched to the mix between indigo and Quinacridone Sienna. That mix much more clear and colorful and great for any kind of other mixing. So that's why the burnt umber still exists in my palette, but I use it just a little bit, then I need exactly that color. For mixing I prefer to use Quinacridone Sienna and indigo together. Just something to keep the good rhythm. Now I create the dark mix, really dark mix for this part of the roof. But in the end I add Quinacridone Sienna and make it look soft. Before I continue to that side, I want to finish this big shadow. I'm gonna make it a little bit more colder, but I still use the, you see, the Quinacridone Sienna with the Indigo together. The dry brush strikes, which all the time make our painting look nice. And the oranges reflections on the wall. So let's go on to create this part of the roof, and again it's just Quinacridone Sienna and Indigo together. Somewhere a little bit more oranges reflections, somewhere a little bit more cold and darker colors. Quinacridone Sienna with a Perylene violet to make it a little bit more reddish colors there for the pipes. And I want to put some more detailed dark touching on that wall, so that's why I mix this same Quinacridone Sienna with the deep gold colors and make the textured wall there like this. I like how it's look like the really old walls there on the street. Few big strikes with the dark colors. For that, here on the ground, for that I use the Perylene Violet, Quinacridone Sienna, and just a little bit Indigo. You see, we have a very nice brown color there. So now we put just some details. Like for instance, I want to make the window, so for this I mix the Quinacridone Sienna with a phthalo green blue shade color, and I have a very nice green. So I'm gonna use that stuff. I like that. So it's really old European thing. And for sure, everything's standing on the shadow. That's why we create the shadow now. A little bit wash out to make it look more like a shiny glass. Good. So finally we have to create some details, and that will be done. Again, I create some nice brown mix there. And finally I switch to my liner brush to finish that and create the small details. A little bit more oranges mixing for the windows. I can say we're done with that street, and like you see, everything standing on one basic color. We can see Quinacridone Sienna everywhere here, and like you see, it's really transparent, colorful, and great for any kind of mixing. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me and make the comments after my video, and you can find all the materials, like a lot of different videos, on my website watercoloronline.com. Thank you very much, and see you next Monday.